Our next legislative priority is to preserve care for infants and young children, especially those with developmental delays and disabilities who are already facing the greatest barriers to accessing services. Early Supports for Infants and Toddlers, or ESIT, connects families with the tools and relationships that they need to support their children's development from the very beginning. Over the past decade, the number of children served has more than doubled. Think about that, more than doubled, showing both the incredible impact of the program and the urgency in sustaining it. We're grateful for the legislature's commitment to special education funding in the 2025 session that in part is supporting the needs of young children with developmental delays from the age of 0 all the way up to 5. This year, we asked the legislature to protect funding for early supports for infants and toddlers and for preschool special education services for children who are ages 3 to 5, ensuring that children and families can access the continuous, high-quality support that they need to reach their full potential. Now we'll hear from our next speaker, Destiny McKenna.
Good evening. My name is Destiny McKenna, and I'm a proud mom to 2 amazing little boys, Jeffrey, who's 5, and Blake, who's 3. My husband, Charlie, and I lovingly call them our little hellions because they're mischievous, energetic, brilliant, and incredibly joyful. More than anything, we want them to have long, happy, carefree childhoods. And thanks to early support infants for toddlers or toddler services, otherwise known as ESIT, they actually can. But we weren't always sure. Sorry, my voice. We weren't always sure that this would be the case. Our son Jeffrey was born at 37 weeks and spent 2 weeks in the neonatal intensive care unit. As he grew, we knew he wasn't meeting his milestones. He couldn't crawl or sit up. When he was 6 months old, we brought him to to an ESIT provider for a formal developmental evaluation. That's when we learned that he had motor and speech delays. Thus, Jeffrey's ESIT journey began with weekly occupational and speech therapies. Jeffrey gradually found his balance, learned to crawl, and began to speak out loud more and more. We were blown away. We also felt like partners in his therapies. These services were delivered right in our home, and our therapists treated us like trusted partners. We were beginning to feel very hopeful about our little family, but then life got really hard. We were struggling to make ends meet, and we began to move around a lot. During this time, our ESIT providers were there, literally delivering diapers and other basic supplies alongside services. But when Jeffrey was about 10 months old, the worst possible thing had happened. He was like, sorry, he was taken into foster care. That was the hardest time of our lives, but we weren't going to let that break our family or interrupt Jeffrey's ESIT services. While Jeffrey was in foster care, we worked closely with his foster family. We actually attended his therapies together with his foster family as one team, looking out for Jeffrey because because all of us loved him so much. Our ESIT providers never questioned us about it. They treated us with respect like any other parents. I'm always thankful for that. We visited we visited Jeffrey every day, and then after many months, in around April 2022, we got Jeffrey back. This might have been the craziest month of our lives. And what in that month we got Jeffrey back. I had my second child, Blake, and we moved into our Bothell apartment where we live to this day. Our younger son, Blake, who also had speech delays, so he eventually also enrolled in ESIT services. Just like Jeffrey, he's made fabulous progress through these services too. Today, we see no limits for our kids, and that's in large parts that's that's all to the support we receive from our ESIT providers. So though as the budget situation this year, it is important to our family that the early support for infants and toddler services are preserved and protected. These services change our kids' lives, our lives, and they change the lives of thousands of families all over the state. Thank you for your time.